What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Commander Banter, back with another video. Here we're going to discuss the first preseason game against the Carolina Panthers. It was a lot that we were looking at. Obviously, we have our starters. Ron Rivera said on Thursday and Friday that our starters were expected to play on offense, about 15 to 20 snaps. Defense starters was going to play. So we were expecting to see what the team was going to look like. As I was watching, I was thinking, I'm saying, we have to have our starters in. We're not a team. We're not on that level yet that we can sit guys, we can sit our best players and everything. We're a team on that tier that we're trying to find ourselves, especially with a new quarterback and a new system, trying to get his rapport and his relationship with his targets and his weapons, as well as a defense that pretty much underwhelmed last year. We definitely need to get some bump, and we don't have the space to let people that are healthy sit and rest. We need to get out the breaks in this regular season, starting with game 1 with the Jags. Everybody knows the schedule, and we know that the first 2 games are winnable. And then we're going to Philadelphia for our first division game. But we get it together before week 1. Let me go ahead and look at some notes. I definitely took some notes while I was watching the game. So what I saw is first team defense, they came out the breaks too soft. They were letting things happen. Secondary was still a little bit too lax. The front four, our pride and joy of the team really is our front four and what we have on that line, defensive line. They got to the quarterback a little bit. I liked it. Against Baker, seemed like with Baker in a new system, all the troubles that he's had with Cleveland and getting traded to Carolina, he looked too comfortable. And he marched down and got 3, but Baker looked too comfortable to be a new quarterback in a new system. And he's only been there for, I think, maybe a month, if that. I was kind of disappointed in the first team defense not imposing its will on a quarterback that is still learning and is not of a tier quarterback that, is elite, in my opinion. Secondary, it looked better. They were still a little bit too lax. I didn't see, obviously, any communication breakdowns that we had last year. Obviously, it's a very small sample size, but they looked more in tune, more in sync. But I just didn't see the aggressiveness that I would think from what we would have called ourselves a year prior, a top 10 defense. Linebackers, Cole, I definitely noticed Cole in the first team defense. He was definitely making plays in the run game. Like I said, they was getting the push. I liked it. Just got to contain better. Let Baker scramble like he has wheels. But next I got, obviously everybody's going to talk about it. My guy, A. Gibb. It is disappointing, man. I had high hopes for him. Always still have high hopes for his potential and when he came in, and he just cannot hold on to the ball. I really don't get it. And what I have in my notes, I said Gibson fumble. He might fumble the starting job. It's unfortunate. Last year he had 1,000 yards rushing. So much promise. But it's just that doesn't matter if you have 1,000, 2,000 yards. Don't even matter if you break the NFL record for rushing yards in a season. If you can't hold on to the ball, it doesn't matter because that's your job as a running back. That's why we could see, and even in my generation of watching the Redskins football team, Commanders, we haven't had a solid running back that we could count on since, honestly, I can think of Clint Portis. After Clint Portis, we going through running backs. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section. If you could think of another running back that we honestly could be like, that's our guy, workhorse, other than Clint Portis. After that, we had Matt Jones. He had so much promise. Couldn't hold on to the ball. Then next thing I think of is Darius Geis. So much promise. Couldn't stay injured. And then we know, what happened there. And then we get in Antonio Gibson. And we had AP Adrian Peterson in his later years, and he had a great year for that one time that he stood in the gap for, I would say, a bridge running back. Brought him back one year, and Antonio Gibson had so much promise that we let go of Adrian Peterson after him being very productive the previous year, because Antonio Gibson had so much promise. Now he's having this fumbling issue, and now we walk in Brian Robinson, who he's a dog. I have in my notes, I put down, I said Robinson looks very good! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! I put like seven or eight exclamation points. As everybody's been saying, he looks like a running back. And Antonio Gibson, the reason where everybody says Brian Robinson looks like a running back and Antonio Gibson doesn't is because obviously he was a wide receiver before, AG was, and he was learning. What the eye test of Brian Robinson looks like a running back is every time he got the ball in this game, he was falling forward. There was no dancing at the hole and trying to find a little wiggle room. He was putting his head down and going. He said he already knew as a running back, a typical running back, a genuine running back, he knew there's no hole. Let me put my head down and at least get 2 or 3. And it wasn't really him getting 2 or 3. It was him getting 5 or 6, putting his head down. It sucks for Antonio Gibson. Like I said, I had high hopes for him, and he could have been a 3-down back because he was a wide receiver before at Memphis, and he was learning how to be a running back, and he looked good at times last year. Obviously, in that 3-game winning streak, he looked very good. But you can see it in Ron's face, and you can see it in Antonio Gibson's face after he fumbled and he went to the sidelines. They showed him. He knows that his starting spot is on the line. He knows that his carries are dwindling throughout the season as we speak. And it's because everybody knows him as a running back that has a fumble problem. And Brian Robinson looks like that guy. Like I said, it is still one preseason game, but he looks like that guy. Most that I had from Brian Robinson is he falls forward every time. We don't have to worry about any issues for converting on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. Let's move to Carson Wentz. He looked okay. There's nothing in the preseason that is really going to change anything. The problem with Carson Wentz that everybody knows in his years, that he holds the ball too long and he tries to make plays at the wrong time, which gets him and his team in trouble. Obviously, we're not going to see those things in preseason. I did notice one time that it seemed like he held the ball a little bit too long, but he actually completed the pass. So obviously, that's not going to be an issue right now. Like I said, it's small sample size. But I mean, the first series that the first team offense had, you could obviously see they started out slow and Carson was trying to figure it out. They were trying to get they tried to get a quick screen to Curtis Samuel, get him going. But I mean, at the end of the day, Carson Wentz is not going to show anything that is alarming probably until the season starts. One thing I did notice also is everybody's been saying it a lot with Carson. He loves his tight ends, and I noticed that he loves his tight end. He threw it to Amari Rodgers a lot. I don't have a problem with him liking to target tight ends, but we just don't have the tight ends right now because we don't have Logan. He's injured. Hopefully he can get back to in week 1 of the regular season. We don't have Cole Turner. He's injured. He didn't play. And we don't have John Bates, who's also injured. I mean, Amari Rodgers, he did look like a good target. He had some good catches. He had 3-in-1 drive, I remember, in this game. But I honestly don't see him making the roster. So I would have liked to see Carson target and get more of a rapport in a live game with his wide receivers. In my notes, I also have Joey Slye misses a kick. We're cursed. I have literally typed in, we're cursed that kicker. It's just, I mean, it's like I said, it's not alarming. He came back and made all his field goals, but after that, but just after having that drive, and in scoring finally. And it was a good jolt because it was a great drive by the first team offense and the resurgence of Brian Robinson after Antonio Gibson fumbles and he gets a good chunk of yards and it scores his first touchdown. And then it just have all the momentum deflated because Joey Slye missed a field goal. Same stuff always. I also have in my notes Buffalo nickel. I saw that they're putting Derek Forrest there with the first team. I like it. Derek Forrest, it can be the Buffalo nickel. I like his range and his hitting. I honestly would love to see Percy Butler there, the rookie, just because of his range, his speed, and the way he can hit. But looking at Percy Butler and with the third and fourth string and everything, it looked like obviously he looked like a rookie. He doesn't have the intangibles to just let his athleticism go. Same thing it was last year with Jamin, that he was thinking too much and couldn't let his athleticism loose. And that's what I noticed. But obviously, like I said, it's still small sample size, first preseason game. But I would love Percy Butler to emerge in that Buffalo nickel role. But yeah, Derek Forrest, he just seemed, I definitely noticed 22 in the first team defense when I was watching. So I like that. He was definitely always around the ball, definitely always in the picture. Big positive to the game, I saw every single team, first team, second team, third team, offensive line, they looked good. Definitely gave clean pockets to all the quarterbacks. Definitely was getting pushed in the run game. Every single part of the depth chart. Like I said, first team looked good. Second team, and third team. Another thing that I have in my notes, Taylor Heineke. And the commentator said it in the game, this is why we had to go get Carson Wentz. We would be in trouble again if he was our starting quarterback. Two big missed throws. First missed throw, I believe, was to Daxton Mills, right side. Just complete, and it was a pitch and catch. It should have been an easy pitch and catch. He overthrew him tremendously. There was no penetration. There was no pressure. He was rolling out to his right and just completely missed him over his head. And then obviously the second big missed throw was the interception that he had. Yes, he did get hit, but I can't give him that because, like I said, previous to that interception he threw over somebody's head, it was a overthrow with no pressure. Yeah, he's just not it. Another thing I have in my notes, Danny Johnson, number 36, he was getting cooked today for some reason. I can't, and obviously I'm not watching him one-on-one with the receiver, but it just seemed like always in the picture, there was a lot of space between him and the wide receiver. And I know that the coaches talk about him and he did play pretty well last year when he had to step in and slot. And the coaches love him, but yeah, that I don't see it. I don't see it what the coaches were seeing. Like I said, it was a lot of separation between him and the wide receiver, 5 yards, and he was definitely getting cooked. Dax Milne, he definitely showed some flashes. I definitely could see him as a sixth receiver. Obviously, we got the three: Terry, Curtis, Jahan, and then Diami. And then Cam Sims as a fifth. And I can see Dax getting in a six slot of the wide receivers. Made some good catches. I like that. I think he had like 23-yard reception. And obviously he can field punts and kick returns because he did some last year. So I could definitely see him getting that sixth slot in wide receiver. I personally would keep 6. I would cut that off at Dax. Everybody likes Marky Michelle. He had a good catch today. I see him as a practice squad player. Keep him just, in case of injury. Kelvin Harmon, he has to understand he's not going to get a lot of opportunities. He's been here for a minute. He's struggling to solidify a spot, and to be honest, we can't keep putting him on the practice squad. I know they like him, but we can't keep putting him on the practice squad. So it looks like he might be on the outside looking in. You only get a limited of opportunities in preseason and training camp and everything if you're not solidified. But he had one should have been catch. It was a great pass. Bobbled, stepped out of bounds, and then tried to catch it again. That was his one opportunity. If he makes that catch, you never know. He might get some more opportunities to make plays and pencil his name in the 53. But missing that catch and not being able to solidify that as a wide receiver, that's your job. And the way that Dax Mills and Marky Michelle came in, yeah, I think he might be on the outside looking in. Nilo Eifert, that hit, that's what we want to see. Definitely if he can get into the linebacker room, I definitely like the aggressiveness, and that's what we need. That's what we need to see with our linebackers. We need to see the aggressiveness, being able to pursue and break on the ball when it's in the air or when they see a run and deliver a hit. He definitely did that. So that's definitely stood out. And then lastly, we can talk about Sam. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. He definitely still looks like a rookie. He definitely still looks like he needs some time. But he played a hell of a game or a hell of a quarter and some change to bring them back. Scored 15 points in the fourth quarter to even make it a game and make it competitive. And with his 2 rushing touchdowns, I love his mobility. That first rushing touchdown for 17 yards, love it. Also, I think prior to that, he had a great breakout of a sack. It should have been a sack. Two Panthers were on him. It should have been a sack, but he was able to wiggle out of there and make positive yards out of it. So that looked good. Definitely needs to work on his timing and his accuracy, obviously. And like I said, he's a rookie, so he still needs some time to develop. He still looked like he was on the money for, like I said, the Dax Mills 23-yard pass. He definitely had a couple of them, but he played pretty good for his first preseason game. I can feel comfortable with, obviously we can see that if Carson stays here next year, I think Taylor's contract is done after this year. I don't know if we bring him back, but Sam might slide into that primary backup role if Carson is still here next year. Just continue to develop and maybe take over this team. I like him. Obviously everybody says it. We got to steal in the 5th round. So I just like him to just continue to develop. But he definitely played well. I love his his guts. I love his tenacity. And so, all right, guys, let me know what you think about this first preseason game. I appreciate you checking out this video. Let me know what you think. Who are you excited to see? What do you think about the running back battle? We don't have a quarterback battle now. Obviously, what do you think about the running back battle? We don't have a quarterback battle this time. Finally, we have a running back battle. What do you think? Should Brian Robinson step in as that number 1, and then bring JD, in the 3rd down back and see, if Antonio Gibson can figure out his fumbling problem and get some carries as well. Also, what do you think about the defense? How do you think Carson played? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you for joining. Like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you.